In today's video, I'm going to talk you through 6 Pokemon investing hacks that you should never trust. There's a lot of information out there, isn't there? Last time I checked and logged on YouTube, there are so many Pokemon investing channels. But I'm going to share with you 6 bits of advice that I think are quite average, and then offer some alternatives, some positive alternatives to those. There is some, in my opinion, bad advice out there. So you just need to be a little bit wary. Hey, if you're new to the channel, my name's Pokemon. My name's Pokeoz. We talk all things Pokemon card investing on this channel. And as you can tell, everything is done in one take. So the bloopers remain on here. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new, please subscribe and watch as many videos as you can. The support is greatly appreciated. And thank you everyone that tunes in to lots of videos. There's some guys and girls, some of you watch absolutely every video I put out. So the support is very, very much appreciated. Right, number 1, buying Pokemon on credit. And it's as simple as that. I think that is terrible advice. There are people out there that go, rack up their credit card, buy 2,000 Ascended Heroes Elite Trainer boxes on credit. They're going to outpace the amount of debt you're going to be paying. Like, I don't know. Look, it depends on your risk aversion, of course, but in my mind, I don't think you can ever be or ever feel financially free if you're racking things up on credit, hoping that they'll outpace it. And look, something like Ascended Heroes, that probably wasn't the best example, because in every stretch of the imagination, Ascended Heroes probably will outpace, but we also don't know how many reprints are coming. You know, it could be like Prismatic Evolutions number 2, that it just gets wave after wave of Elite Trainer box. Look, it doesn't seem like that, especially here in Australia. It doesn't look like we're getting any more Elite Trainer boxes, but that's beside the point. My point remains that you're only, if that's the case, if that's what you plan on doing, you know, racking up, you know, hundreds of Elite Trainer boxes, and whether it's at that scale or even if it's at a smaller scale, you know, maybe buying a case of booster boxes every set that comes out, and you're racking them up on credit, hoping that they'll outpace your credit card debt. And every chance they will, particularly in this market, everything's going up so quickly, but it only feels like you're one bad decision away, or 1 or 2 bad sets away from really getting caught out and being caught in debt. And you know, there's nothing worse than that. There's nothing worse than going, oh, I've stuffed up, now I have to sell absolutely everything to pay off my debt. And what if something else happens in life? Like, I remember this, and certainly throwing no shade at the individual, because things happen and we all make decisions that are either good, bad, or indifferent. But I remember this on Reddit about 2 years ago, and I think I shared it in a video 2 years ago, that you know, they'd racked up some Pokemon cards on credit, and you know, their dog had an emergency vet bill, and it was going to cost, you know, say $2,000 US, and they just didn't have any funds there. Like the credit card was maxed out from spending on Pokemon, so they'd caught themselves in a really bad predicament where they needed help. They needed to A, sell all their Pokemon card products, and B, get some help on top of that just to fund the dog's vet bill. So my first bit of advice, or first bit of bad advice that I don't think you should listen to, is racking up Pokemon cards on credit debt. Number 2 on my list, and this is a really, really important one, and this is only investing when it feels safe. This is a bad bit of advice, and this is almost the same advice as saying time the market. And I will always say that time in the market is more important than timing the market. It is impossible to time the market. None of us have crystal balls. Even the most experienced people in the hobby don't have crystal balls. You know what the most experienced people do in the hobby? They just buy lots and hold it, and they differentiate. It's as simple as that. And they go with sealed product. That's what the best in the business. If you look at the top tier investor, you know, someone like someone like Rudy from Alpha Investments, it's what he does. He buys bulk sealed product, obviously sells it to Patreons, etc. along the way, but we'll just hold it and let it go up in value. But it is so impossible to time the market. And here's probably the best modern example of only investing when it feels safe, or timing the market. If people had listened to that advice during Destined Rivals, like Destined Rivals came out, of course, it was the most hyped set I think we've ever seen in modern history. Everyone was wanting it. As soon as that Team Rocket logo came out, everyone's like, we're getting a Rocket set. This is going to be the best modern booster box we've seen since Evolving Skies. And look, at this stage, it arguably is. But at the start, it was reasonably priced, and then all of a sudden, it rose very quickly to $300 US. And people are going, well, it just doesn't feel safe to invest in it at the moment. And why doesn't it feel safe? Well, it doesn't feel safe because what if it gets reprinted? What if it gets reprinted and prices fall back to 200 US dollars? Then I'm going to be caught out. I'm going to be caught out with a bunch of booster boxes that I paid 300 for, and now the market price has returned back to 200 because it's been reprinted. It just didn't feel safe, is what people were saying. And if you'd taken that advice, look where you'd be now. There is no possible way to know when exactly something is going to be reprinted and whether you are timing the market perfectly. Let's flip that scenario and give a different scenario. Let's say it had risen to 300. You'd bought yourself one booster box and you wanted to buy yourself a few more. Do it. What's the worst that happens? It does get reprinted, it goes back down to 200, you dollar cost average by buying some cheaper booster boxes, you plan to hold long term, and you watch arguably the most hyped modern set in a long time rise up in price like it is now. It's currently 585 US dollars a booster box. It's interesting because a lot of people said the same thing about Evolving Skies, waiting for it to get reprinted, waiting for it to get reprinted, waiting for it to get reprinted, and it just never happened. Hey, before I jump on to point number 3, just want to give a big shout out to today's video sponsor, which is of course the Collector app. There'll be a link in the description to download that one. If you don't have it, please grab it. You can follow my journey down in the content creator section. This app has everything. Like, it is the ultimate app for collectors and investors alike. You can put all your sealed, all your singles inside there. You can check their daily market movements. You can see your whole portfolio and how your whole portfolio is performing. The set analytics in here from an investing standpoint to see how many graded copies there are, what the top hits are inside a set, what the total set value is of every set, both English, Japanese. It just has everything you need to maximize your collecting and investing journey in a digital landscape. That is, of course, the Collector app. Number 3, this bit of advice. Sell as soon as you make profit and roll it on to the next thing. And look, that can certainly work in some circumstances, but let me call it out with some other examples. And I know I'm picking the best example here, but it rings true for other investments like Fusion Strike Lost Origin, Silver Tempest. But let's take Evolving Skies. And I know I'm picking the best modern era set from Sword and Shield era. If you'd maximize your profit, and you can see on the graph up here, if you'd gone, well, I've made enough money right now after holding this for 12 months. You know, I bought it at 120 US dollars and I've sold it for 360 US dollars. I've tripled my money. That is insane gains. I am out. That is awesome. I think it's going to flatline. It might even get reprinted. Awesome. I'm jumping ship. If you've done that, you've cut a winner short. That's an old gambling saying, isn't it? But you've cut a winner short. Okay, well done. You've tripled your money. You've maxed. You've cashed out and you've made some profit. But if you know anything about the hobby and how good this set is, you've cut a massive winner short. And you know what you'd be doing right now? You'd be kicking yourself that you didn't hold your Evolving Skies booster box for longer. And I know I've picked the best example, but same thing can be said for Fusion Strike. You bought Fusion Strike at 100, you sold it at 300. It's now 900 to 1,000. You bought Lost Origin at 100, you sold it at 250. It's now 650. You get my point. If you can hold long enough, every booster box will go up. And in particular, the better sets. And how do we know if it's a good set? Well, it's quite easy. It's all to do with the chase cards. If it has good chase cards, it's popular new, people want to rip it open to grab those chase cards, it's going to be popular in the future. People are going to want those chase cards in the future. They're going to be worth money raw, they're going to be worth money as a PSA 10, and as a result, the booster box will go up in price quicker than a booster box that doesn't have as good chase cards inside it. It's as simple as that. There are, of course, massive other factors that come into play, but the crux of it is that. Number 4, following or just following what everyone else is doing, the herd mentality. Everyone's buying this card, so I need to buy it. I think that's bad advice. And here's an example. I know this is only a small example. It's a small drop in the ocean of all the possible singles that I could have chosen, but Drowsy from Scarlet and Violet base. It was a little over 12 months ago. In fact, it might have been 18 months ago or 15 months ago, but regardless, a bit over 12 months ago, that this card absolutely skyrocketed, as did a lot of other early illustration rares from Scarlet and Violet era. Now, I think there was a few reasons why they skyrocketed. The main one being, though, FOMO. Like, People were just buying because everyone else was buying, and they were rising up in price, and they felt if they didn't buy, they're going to miss out. That is the definition of FOMO, that you feel like you're going to miss out, fear of missing out. The second one was that a lot of these early Scarlet and Violet illustration rares were very tough to grade in a 10. And there was a massive grading play, as in they were worth 6x, 8x, 10x, in some cases 12x their raw price to a PSA 10 price because it was so difficult to grade these cards. So as a result, it was this massive FOMO about buying these cards. There was also buyouts on a lot of these cards, which caused artificial FOMO, and it pumped cards up so quickly. And you know what? They came back down very, very quickly. Maybe they didn't quite come down to what they initially started at, but it's inevitable when something pumps up that quickly that it's going to come back down a little bit. And that's what happened with this one example. It's not just this example, there was lots of them. And if you go by that mentality of just following what everyone else is doing, chances are you're too late. It generally means you're too late. You haven't got to the party early enough. You've already missed, and even if you do get some gains out of it, you've probably missed the majority of the gains because you got in too late. Number 5 on my list, and this is something that I arguably preach against, but it is a bad bit of advice, that all Pokemon cards and all sealed product will always just go up. It's not true. Sealed product is a deflationary asset, and over time, generally speaking, it'll continue to go up. But it doesn't always just go up in a linear trajectory. Quite often, it can stabilize for 6, 12 months. Sometimes it can come backwards a little bit in price. Sealed product, though, as a general rule, you're pretty safe. Over time, it's probably going to go up in price at a relatively steady rate with some stabilizations, with some slight dips, but overall, it's trending upwards. Singles, on the other hand, are a lot more volatile. They're not just constantly going to go up. And sometimes people can get stung badly, and it can take years and years and years until the next bull cycle that they will even recapture some of their losses and maybe then move forward. And the best example of this is a lot of the first edition Wizards of the Coast era cards. A lot of those rare vintage cards reached absolute peak prices late 2020, early 2021 during COVID. That was a massive bull market. Then during 2022, 23, 24, a lot of those prices came way back down to earth or stabilized for a long period of time, and it's only just now into this 2025 and early 2026 bull run that we've seen a lot of these Wizards of the Coast era cards and EX era cards regain some of the glory of their pricing from 2020 and 2021. So Pokemon cards don't just always shoot up in price. That is bad advice to listen to. You need to be picky and choosy. If you're expecting to go buy a $100,000 Gold Star and think it's going to be a $200,000 Gold Star, and look, that might be a bad example. Maybe you just buy a raw copy for $600 US and it's in average condition. Don't expect it to just automatically be worth $1,200 in 2 years. It just doesn't quite work like that. The safest bet, the safest play is to invest in sealed product. Singles should be seen as a gamble that can give you phenomenal gains, but can also take pretty harsh losses. That's something you need to keep in mind. Now, the final bit of advice is one that I hate seeing. It is that you need a lot of money to start. That you need to be a bowler to be part of the Pokemon investing space. It's not the case. The thing about TikTok, the thing about Instagram, the thing even about YouTube is that people have these insane collections, and mine looks like an absolute drop in the ocean compared to a lot of others. And I'm probably the best example of you don't need a lot of money to start. Just get started. I remember when I started it and I turned a corner and I said, you know what, I'm going to keep some products sealed now. I want to start a sealed collection. I want to start a sealed investment portfolio. And I just bought a couple of booster boxes and decided not to open them. And as each week went by and each month went by, I just slowly and surely added to the collection. And here we are 6 years later and the collection's okay, but it's a very small drop in the ocean compared to a lot of other people's collections. And that's what I mean. You see all these bowlers online and they've got, EX era sealed booster boxes. They've got Aquapolis sealed booster boxes. They've got first edition fossil sealed booster boxes, or they've got 3,000 Ascended Heroes Elite Trainer boxes behind them as sealed investments, and they've already each gone up $60. So, they're $180,000 up already. It's like, you don't need to be at that level. You don't start anywhere, even if it's a 3-pack blister. I just saw recently an Unbroken Bonds 3-pack blister sell for like $200 US. You could buy that for $15 US when it came out. How good a return is that in 7 years? It's insane returns. Like, you don't need much money to get started. You know what? Even if you can't afford booster boxes or elite trainer boxes each pay, and all you can afford is a 3-pack blister, what a cool collection. Imagine there's generally 2 3-pack blisters for each main set. Imagine having the 2 promos of each 3-pack blister for every set that's come out for the last 5 years. You would have an awesome collection just on that. You don't need heaps of money to get started. Just jump into it. There we go. I'm Michael. This is PokeOz. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and I'll catch everyone next time for our next video. Will be podcast style, where I answer some of your questions.